Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to today's Friday Happy Math Hour. Today we're going to be covering the final exam review. Okay, these are the topics that we're going to cover. It goes from the beginning of the semester all the way to the last chapter of the semester, which was chapter 9. This is number 1 on the exam review. It says find the equation of the line passing through the points -2, 5 and -4, 6. Okay, now guys, so we have to put find the equation in the form of y equals to mx plus b, which is called the slope-intercept form. So for that, we need to find my m, which is my slope, and the b, which is the y-intercept. So this is a formula for the slope. The m equals, which is the slope, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Excuse me. And for the b, for the y-intercept, for the b equals to y minus mx. Okay, so these are my points, -2, 5 and -4, 6. So x1 will be -2 and y1 will be 5. X2 is -4 and y2 is 6. So let's plug everything in there. This will give us 6 minus 5 divided by -4 minus -2. It's going to give us -1/2. Okay. Now, I got my slope. So now to find my b, which is a y-intercept, right, we choose one point. The point doesn't matter. Here I chose the first point. So my right, this is my formula. B equals to y minus mx. My y is 5. My x is -2. And my m, my slope, is -1/2. So let's plug everything in there. There's my y minus my slope times my x. Right? The answer will be 4. You guys can plug this in the calculator, guys, just the way it is, with the parentheses and everything, and it's going to give you 4. So then this is my my equation. Y equals to -1/2 x plus 4. That's number 1 on your review. Number 2, we're trying to find the difference quotient of the function x squared minus x plus 4. Solution, right? So here, guys, we're going to do it in 3 steps. My first step, we got to find f of x plus h. Right, which means I'm going to plug in x plus h for every x. Right, so I'm going to plug it in there for the x and also for the x here minus x. But then I have to evaluate x plus h squared will give us, right, if we do that for you, it's going to give us x squared plus xh plus xh plus h squared. How do we get that? Because we do x times x will give me x squared. X times h will give me xh. Then h times x will give me xh. And h times h will give me h squared. This gives us x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Now, all we do is bring down the negative x plus h. Now, here, guys, we bring down the x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. We bring it down. And here, we have to do the distributive property. Negative times a positive will give you a negative. Negative times a positive will give you a negative. And we just bring down the 4. So this is part 1. Now, part 2, we're going to do the f of x plus h minus f of x. The f of x plus h, we just found it, right, which was the x squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus x minus h plus 4. Will be minus my f of x is my original function, which is the x squared minus x plus 4. Now here, guys, I have to distribute, right? So we bring down the what we got for f of x plus h, right? We bring everything down. And then with a minus here, negative times a positive will give you a negative x squared. Negative times a negative x will give us a positive x. And negative times a positive 4 will give us a negative 4. Now here's a hint. Hey guys, every term without an h must be eliminated or will be eliminated. For example, does x squared have an h? No, right? So somewhere there's going to be a negative x squared and it's right here. Cancel. Does 2xh have an h? Yes, so that one stays. H squared has an h, that one stays. Does the negative x have an h? No, so somewhere there's going to be a positive x, and here it is. We're here on the second term to the end. The minus h, right, has an h, so that one stays. And the 4 doesn't have an h, so the 4, there has to be a negative 4 somewhere, and here it is at the end. So those cancel. So what's left are other terms that have an h in them. So this is the answer for the second part. Right? So here, guys, I'm going to factor out an h. Why? Because it'll make the work easier for the last step. Right? All these terms have an h in common, so we factor it out. So we factor the h out, we're left with 2x plus h minus 1. Now comes the last step, right? So we put them all together, guys, and the h's here, guys, are going to cancel. Or h divided by h will give us 1. So the answer will be 2x plus h. Let me go back. 2x plus h minus 1. For those students going to the next course, which is Math 1325, you're going to see a whole section on these, okay? And they're a little bit challenging. But afterwards, there's formulas that you can use to get, to find the difference quotients. Very, very easy formulas to follow. But you have to know the difference quotients for the next course if you're going for business or for accounting. Okay, now comes number 3. Number 3 states the manufacturer suggested retail price, which is an MSRP, for a new Toyota Prius is $25,035. And it is expected to be worth $14,115 in 4 years. So here, guys, they want 3 things. They want you to find the linear depreciation function of this car, estimate the value of the car in 5 years from now, and part C, at what rate is a car depreciating? Okay, well, let's start with part A. So for part A, we need to find 2 points, right? When the car is brand new, right, that means X is 0. And the original price is $25,035. So this is my first point. 0, $25,035. Then my second point, right, it says here, and it is expected to be worth $14,115 in 4 years. So the second point will be for $14,115. So we need to find the slope, the m, and the b. Now for the slope, right? So we follow the formula as we did, I think, on problem number 2. Right? It's going to be y2. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So it'll be y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. This will give us negative 2,730. Okay, that's my slope. Now for the b, right? For the b, hey guys, we should have known that the b, right? When we're graphing, 0b, guys, right, is my y-intercept. So this is going to be my b. But just in case you didn't know that, so we follow the formula that we used before. B equals to y minus mx. Okay, I'm going to choose the first point, 0 and 25,035. So y is 25,035 and my x is 0. So let's plug him into the formula. Right? This is going to give us 25,035. But every time, guys, that when you start, right, that means that there's no time has elapsed, which means that the original price will always be your b. Okay, but in this case, I just did the work just in case you didn't know that. So I found my function. There's my slope, there's my b. And there's my function. My linear depreciation function will be negative 2,730x plus 25,035. That's the answer for part A. Now for part B, estimate the value of the car in 5 years from now. So for part B, we're going to evaluate the function at f of 5, which means I'm going to plug in 5 for the x's. So it's going to give us negative 2730 times 5 plus 25,035. Use your calculator and we get 11,385. So the car will be worth 11,385 in 5 years from now. Now comes part C. At what rate is the car depreciating? Because part C, for the answer, guys, is the slope of the function, which is negative 2730, right? Negative 2,730. But you cannot put negative because the word depreciating means it's already negative. So the answer will be at a rate of $2,730 per year. This is your answer. Okay. Now number 4. Find the vertex, the x-axis symmetry, y-intercept, and the x-intercept of the function. Right, so the function, right, it's in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c. So the vertex will be negative b over 2a, that's the x part, and f of negative b over 2a will be the y part. For the x-axis symmetry, it's going to be x equals to negative b over 2a. So once we find the slope, we already found the x-axis symmetry also. And for the y-intercept, it's going to be 0c. For the y-intercept, it's visual. You guys should know what the y-intercept is without doing the work. It's always your c, right? And then for the x-intercept, you have to know how to factor or else use a quadratic formula. So let's find the vertex first. Right, so we have to know what the a is and what the b is. My a is 1 because it's a coefficient in front of the x squared. And my b is 10. It's a coefficient in front of the x. So let's plug it into the formula, which means, right, negative, my b is 10 and my a is 1, which will give us negative 5. This is the x part of the vertex, but I need to find the y part. So for the y part, I'm going to evaluate the function at f of negative 5, which means I'm going to plug in negative 5 for the x's, which means right there where the x is, and also where the 10x is. So I'm going to plug in the 10 in there. I mean the negative 5, and also the negative 5 over here where the 10 is. Now we use a calculator, and we get our answer. I tell the students, because most students taking this course, they're not math majors or they're not going for a STEM career, which means they're not really using too much math in their careers. So I tell them, do not use your brain, guys, because at times when we try to use our brain, guys, we mess up because math is not your strong points. So if you feel that I'm talking to you guys, then just use your calculator. But when you put in the calculator, guys, put it just the way it is here with a parentheses, because if not, you're going to make mistakes. If you put it with parentheses, you cannot go wrong. So this is my answer. If you guys can do it by hand, right, it's even better. But in my opinion, just put in the calculator, because at this stage, you all can use a calculator, either a graphing one or a scientific one, but you can use one. So my slope is, my vertex is negative 5, negative 16. That's my vertex. Now the x-axis symmetry is the x part of the vertex, which will be x equals to negative 5. That's my x-axis symmetry. My y-intercept is going to be 0c, right? My c in this case is 9. So what's my y-intercept will be 0, 9. That's your y-intercept. For factoring, right, to find the x-intercept, we have to know how to factor. So to factor, right, this is going to be x plus 9 and x plus 1. If you guys don't know how to factor and you're taking the next course, well, just to be honest with you guys, I think you're in trouble, because you have to know how to factor to be able to do the next course. If you need help how to factor, you can always go to tutoring, or if you're here at Trans Mountain, you can always hit me up and I will help you. But you have to know how to factor if you're taking the Math 1325. Here, guys, in this case, it's going to be x plus 9 and x plus 1. So we let both equal to 0. So x equals to negative 9, because here, guys, on the x plus 9, we subtract 9 from both sides. So x equals to negative 9, and x equals to negative 1. Okay. Okay, now let's see. Let's continue. So these are my x-intercepts. Okay, now for number 5, right? Find the vertex, axis symmetry, y-intercept, and x-intercept. But now it's in a different form. It's in vertex form. Hey guys, for this one, everything is visual except for the x-intercepts. Okay, and also the y-intercept. Okay, but they're not hard to get if it's in this form. My vertex is hk, axis of symmetry is going to be x equals to h. For the y-intercept, you're going to let x equals 0 and solve for y. And to find the x-intercept, you let y equals 0 and solve for x. Okay, in this case, right, we have g of x equals to x plus 3 squared minus 16. If you notice, my h and my k, right? If it's positive here, guys, my h is going to be negative 3, and my k will be negative 16. So this is my slope. Okay, it's always the opposite for the h. It's always the opposite of what's here. If it's positive here, it's negative here. You see, guys, the formula means if it's minus here, guys, it's positive here. So it's always the opposite, only for the h. That's my vertex. Now the axis of symmetry is going to be the x part of the vertex, so it's going to be x equals to negative 3. Now to find the y-intercept, okay, we're gonna let x equal 0. G of x is the same thing as y. So I'm gonna plug in 0 for x, right? This gives us 9. 9 minus 16 will give us negative 7. Because, but this one you can do it in your head, right? I mean, without doing all these steps. For example, right? We can go here to the beginning, right here. If x is 0, right? Wouldn't it just be 3? 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 16 is negative 7. You can do all that without doing other work, but this is to show you how to get the answer by doing work. Now for the x-intercepts, there's no easy way about it. That one, you actually have to do all the work. Right, so we're going to let y equal 0. So we're going to let g of x equal 0 because that's like my y. Now the next thing, I'm going to add 16 to both sides. Now to eliminate the square, I'll take the square root of both sides. Right, square root of both sides. I put the right, put it on the left, and this one I put on the right, but it's the same thing. Now here, guys, the square root eliminates the square to give us x plus 3, and the square root of 16 is equal to 4, but it has to be plus or minus 4. Now I subtract 3 from both sides. So we get x equals to negative 3 plus or minus 4, which means here, guys, we're going to get two answers. Negative 3 plus 4 and negative 3 minus 4. We get 1 and negative 7. So these are my x-intercepts, negative 7, 0, and 1, 0. Okay. Number 6, how does this apply, the quadratic functions apply in real life? Okay, this is number 6. The revenue for McDonald's Corporation in billions of dollars for the years 2010 to 2015 can be approximated by the function r of x equals to negative 1/2 x squared plus 13x minus 57, where x equals 10 corresponds to the year 2010. Now also there's 3 parts. The first part, find the vertex. The second part is here is supposed to be in what year during this period was the revenue at a maximum? And part C, what was the maximum revenue to the nearest $1 billion? Okay, guys, to get to the point here, guys, once you find A part, the vertex, you also found the parts for B and C. So really, guys, here you only have to find the vertex, and then I'll show you how the vertex applies to the B part and to C part. Okay, so let's first find the vertex, and there's a formula for the vertex, which is negative b over 2a, and f of negative b over 2a. So in this case, my a is negative 1/2 or negative 0.5, and my b is 13. So we're going to plug into the formula, right? So it'll be negative 13 divided by 2 times negative 0.5. The answer will give us is 13. Now, to find the y part of the vertex, we evaluate the function at 13, which means we're going to find r of 13, which means I'm going to plug in 13 to the original function for the x source. Right there, the 13 for the it'll be negative 1/2, 13 squared, plus 13 times 13 minus 57. Again, we use a calculator, and we get 27.5. So this is my vertex, 13, 27.5. Right, so the answer for A is 13, 27.5. Now, for B part, In what year during this period was the revenue at a maximum? Check this out, guys. If they say here, if x equals 13, if x equals 10 corresponds to the year 2010, then x equals 13 corresponds to the year 2013. So what's the answer for B? In 2013 was the revenue at a maximum. Now for part C, what was the maximum revenue to the nearest $1 billion? So for part C, it's going to be the y part of the vertex, right? The y value of the vertex is always the maximum or minimum value, which was 27.5. But you're saying to round out to the nearest billion, so it's going to be 28 billion. So the maximum revenue is about 28 billion. That's how we do these type of problems. And again, once you find the vertex, you also found the answers for parts B and C. Okay? Let's move on to number 7. Solve the exponential function. Okay, here guys, we're going to try to make him the same base, right? But 9 and 27 are not the same base. So we ask ourselves, does 9 squared equal 27? No, it equals to 81. That means the 9 and the 27 do not share 9 as the same base. So let's downgrade to a 3. Right, find the common basis between 9 and 27. So I know that 3 squared is 9 and 3 cubed is 27. Now they share the same base, which is 3. So I'm gonna substitute 3 squared where the 9 is, and we just go bring down the exponent, and I'm gonna substitute 3 cubed for the 27. Now here, guys, I'm gonna apply the power property or the exponent power rule, which means when you have a power to a power, we multiply the powers. So the left side is going to be 3 to the 2x. On the right side, we have 3 to the third power. Now they have the same base. So when they have the same base, we let the exponent equal to each other, that's a rule for exponents. We divide both sides by 2, and the answer will give us 3 over 2. Okay, now the good thing about these problems, guys, is that you can check your answer. All right, how can we check it? I'm going to plug in 3 halves for the x's. If you put 3 halves in the calculator, guys, it's going to give you 27. So I know that's my answer. So the answer is x equals to 3 over 2. Now, number 8. The assets in billions of dollars for a prudential financial incorporation can be approximated by the function a of x equals to 315 e to the 0.05x, where x equals 7 corresponds to the year 2007. Find the assets for the following years. Okay, now solution. If x equals 7 corresponds to the year 2007, then x equals 0 must correspond to the year 2000, and x equals 12 must correspond to the year 2012. So for a part, I'm going to evaluate the function at a of 0, which means I'm going to plug in 0 where the x is. The answer will be 315. So the answer is right because it's in billions of dollars. The answer will be 315 billion. Yeah, good to know. 315 is the initial value because time is equal to 0. I think that'll be helpful for the next problem. For part B, right, we're going to evaluate a at 12 because it's 8 in 2012. We plug in 12 where the x is. We put in the calculator. So the answer will be 616.8171575. So the answer will be approximately about $616.8 billion. That's the answer for B part. Now, number 9. A deadly virus has infected the world. At the end of January, there were 2 cases, and by the end of April, the cases had grown to 128. A part. Find the model of the form f of t equals to y naught b to the t power, with t equals 0 corresponding to the end of the month of January. B part, if the trend continues, about how many people will be infected by the end of the year? Okay, solution here. So need to find y naught and my b, right, to plug into the formula. Y naught is the amount present at time equals 0, which means my y naught is for the cases of the virus when it started, right? So it started with 2 cases. So y naught is equal to 2. Then we continue, right? Because it says at the end of January, there were 2 cases. So for the end of April, right, we just continue at the end of January. At the end of February will be 1. T equals 2 at the end of March. T equals 3 to the end of April, right? So we're going to go from the end of January to the end of April, which is 3 months. So in 3 months, there were 128 cases, right? Which means f of 3 equals to 128. That means, guys, that when my time is 3, we have 128. So 128 will be my f of 3 equals 2 for my y naught, b to the 3rd power. So we divide both sides by 2. We get 64. 64 equals to b cubed. Now the next thing we're going to do to solve for b, we're going to raise both sides to the power of 1/3. Right, so on the left side, b to the 3rd power raised to the 1/3 power, it will just be b to the 1st power. On the left side, 64 to the 1/3 power will give us 4. So I found my b, and I found my y naught, which is 2. So I have all the info required to plug into the formula. Right, so this is the answer for part A. F of t equals to 2 times 4 to the power of t. Okay. Now, so from January to December, this is going to be 11 months, right? Because we go at the end of January, before we start, the end of February is 1, end of March is 2, and so forth. And you go all the way to the end of December, it's going to be 11. So for part B, we have to evaluate the function at 11, which means I'm going to plug 11 where the t is. So the answer will be about 8,388,608 people will be infected by the end of the year. Okay, that's the answer for B part. So let's go to our next problem. This is number 10. Gabriel invested his summer earnings of $3,000 in a savings account for college. The account pays 1.5% simple interest. What will be the value of this account after 2 years? And how much interest did he earn? Okay. So this is a formula, guys, for compound interest. Okay. So there's a formula for simple interest. Okay, right? Simple interest. So we're looking for my future value, right? Because it's saying what will be the value after 2 years. So we're looking for the future value. So my present value will be the 3,000. My R, which is the interest rate, will be 1.5%, but it has to be in a decimal. So it's going to be 0.0115. My T, the time, is going to be 2. So 2 years. All we do is plug everything in the calculator. Right, plug everything in, and then we put in the calculator, guys. It's going to give us something like 3,090. Right now, to find the interest earned, is going to be the interest earned is the future value and it's the present value. So the future value was 3,090, and the present value for we invested was 3,000. The answer will give us 90. So the future value in 2 years will be $3,090. The interest accumulated or earned will give us $90. So this is the answer for part A and B. Number 11. You deposit $9,000 in an account at your bank that pays 2.5% interest semi-annually. How much money will be on your account after 10 years? And how much interest did you earn? So this one is a compound interest problem. Okay, and here's your formula. But it's easier to use this one instead because the I is the same thing as R divided by M, and the N is equal to M times T. This will be much easier or much student-friendly to put into the calculator. So there's 7 things that you gotta find. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's see what we're looking for here. Here's what we're looking for. How much money will be on your account after 10 years? So we're looking for the future value. So the present value will be 9,000. My interest rate will be 2.5%. Convert to a decimal will be 0.025. My M is a compound. How many times is compounded? So it's compounded semi-annually means 2. My time is 10 years. So my I will be my R, 0.025 divided by M, which is 2, which will give us 0.0125. And then my, let's see here, my N is M times T. M times T will give us 2 times 10, will give us 20. Now everything can be plugged in the calculator, guys. And all we do is plug it in and we get our result. The answer is $11,538.34 after 10 years. Now, how much interest did you earn? So again, the interest earned is a future value minus a present value. So the future value was $11,538.34 minus the present value was $9,000, which gives us $2,538.34. That's how much interest you earn. Okay, so these are the answers for 11, the first part and my second part. Okay, now let's move on to the next problem here. Okay, now this one here, it says it says a 200-seat theater charges $8 for adults and $5 for children. If all seats were filled and the total ticket income was $1,435, how many adults and how many children were in the audience? Okay, solution. Need to find two equations. Like I always tell my students, right? We're going to do people with people and money with money, or seats with seats and money with money. Okay, now. So we're going to let X be adult seats, right? Because adults are first. We're going to let Y be children seats. So it'll be X adult seats plus Y children seats equals to 200. So it's going to be X plus Y equals to 200. That's equation number 1. For the second equation, right? It says here, it's $8 for adults. Since X represents adults, this is equivalent to 8X. And the children's tickets are $5. And since Y represents children's seats, right? So it's going to give us 5Y. And the total money or the total income is $1,435. So we found my second equation. It's going to be 8X plus 5Y equals to 1,435. So I got both equations. Now you can solve this by substitution or by the elimination method. In this case, in my opinion, the elimination method is much easier because they're both already set up in that form. So here, guys, I can eliminate the x's or the y's. It doesn't matter. I believe I'm gonna eliminate the x's. So I'm going to multiply equation 1 by -8. Why -8? Because -8 times x will give us -8x. And then when we add them, they'll be eliminated. Okay? So -8 times x will give us -8x. -8 times y will give us -8y. And -8 times 200 will give us -1600. So equation number 2, all we do is bring it over, slide it over, and we add them. We're going to get -3y equals to -165. Divide both sides by -3. So I found the value for y, which is 55. Now I can either go, now we need to find the value for x. So I can either go to equation 1 or equation 2, whatever is easier. In my opinion, equation 1 is easier. So we know that the y value is 55. So I'm going to plug in the 55 for the y is. Now I'm going to subtract 55 from both sides. And we found our x. X is 145. So my x is 145 and my y is 55. But that's not what we're looking for, right? The problem states how many adults and how many children were in the audience. So since the variable x corresponds to adults, right? So it's going to be 145 adults and 55 children were in the audience. Let's move on to number 13. This is larger systems of equations. Because this one, you can solve it by using the Gauss-Jordan method, but I don't like to use the Gauss-Jordan method for this class here for 1324 because it's a little bit tedious, and most of the time students they don't get the concept doing it by matrices. That's why I don't give this an exam, but I do give it for homework. But this one can be solved another way, okay? But just solving the systems of equations. So I always have a plan to show my students how to find it, how to find the x, y, and z. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get equations 1 and 2 and get rid of the x's, right? So I'm going to multiply -2 times the first equation. -2 times every term on equation number 1 results in -2x plus 6y minus 4z equals to 0. Equation number 2, all we do is slide it over. After we add them, the x's are eliminated. So we're left with 4y minus 3z equals to 3. Now we repeat the process with equations 1 and 3. Again, we need to eliminate the x's. So equation number 1, I'm going to multiply by -3. But I multiply -3 times every term in equation number 1. The result will be -3x plus 9y minus 6z equals to 0. Equation number 3, all we do is slide it over. Now we add them. If you notice, the x's are also eliminated. So this is my new equation number 3. Now I'm going to get the new equation 2 and the new equation 3 and eliminate the y's. Which means in the new equation 2, I need to multiply by -10. And the new equation 3, I'm going to multiply by 4. So if I do that, multiply -10 times every term, I get -40y plus 30z equals to -30. So multiply 4 times every term in equation 3, I get 40y minus 28z equals to 28. After I add them, the y's are eliminated. So we get 2z equals to -2. Then we divide both sides by 2, and the result is z equals to -1. Now I back substitute. Okay, so I got equation 1, I got my new equation 2, and equation 3 becomes z equals to -1. So I know the value for z now, right? But now I need to find the value for y and the value for x. So I'm going to go to my new equation 2 and plug in -1 for z, right? Because my z is -1. This becomes 4y plus 3 equals 0. Equals 3. If we subtract 3 from both sides, it's going to give us 0. Right, so 4y equals to 0. Now, if we divide both sides by 4, my y is equal to 0. So now I go to equation 1. I know the values for y and the values for z. Y is 0 and z is -1. So I'm going to plug in those values for equation number 1 on the y and the z. So my y is 0, so I'm going to plug in the 0 for y. And my z is -1. I'm going to plug in the -1 for z. This gives us x minus 2 equals 0. Then we're going to add 2 to both sides, so x equals to 2. So the answer is x equals 2, y equals 0, and z equals -1. So this gives me the point. The point is 2, 0, -1 is my solution. Okay, now we're going to multiply matrices. Okay, remember guys, in order to multiply matrices, right, once you put the order of the first matrix, matrix A is 2 by 3, and matrix B is 2 by 2. So they want you to multiply matrix B times matrix A. Matrix B is a 2 by 2, and matrix A is a 2 by 3. The two numbers in the middle must match, right? If they match, it means you can multiply them. If the numbers didn't match, it means that the matrix cannot be multiplied. For example, if you say to multiply matrix A to matrix B, you see you cannot do it because 3 and 2 are not the same numbers. That's why you cannot multiply A times B, but you can multiply B times A. And the answer will be the outer numbers will be a 2 by 3. So let's do it. Step 1, right? So this, I'm going to do it in steps. So, right, this is matrix B and this is matrix A. So the objective here, guys, is that you have to multiply every row times every column, but in a specific order. First, we're going to multiply the first row times every column. Okay, that's why I use color code. I mean, like color coded. The first row is in blue, and the first column that I'm going to multiply will be in red. So you're going to multiply the first element times the first element, and second element times the second element. So 1 times 2, right, plus 0 times 4. It's going to give us 2 plus 0. The answer is 2. So the 2 goes in the first slot. Now comes step 2. So I have to multiply the first row now times the second column. So 1 times 0 and 0 times negative 2. The answer will give us 0 plus 0. The answer is 0. So I got the solution for the second element will be 0. Now comes my step 3. If you notice, I'm almost done with the column, right? I need to multiply by one more column, which will be the 1, 0 times the 5 and the negative 3. So I'm going to multiply 1 times 5 and 0 times negative 3. We add them, it's going to give us 5. So this is my first row. Why is that, guys? Because there's no more columns to multiply by. That means that's your first row. Now step 4, I'm going to repeat the process, but now I'm going to multiply the second row times every column. So all the steps get repeated, but the only difference is that now I'm using the second column, the second row. So second row times first column is going to be 4 times 2 plus negative 2 times 4. The answer will be 8. Then it's 8 will give us 0. The 0 goes there. Now step number 5. Multiply the second row times the second column. So 4 times 0 plus negative 2 times negative 2. It's going to give us 4. So the 4 goes on the second row, second column. Now finally, right, the sixth step. Multiply the second row times the last column. So 4 times 5 plus negative 2 times negative 3. And the result will give us 26. So this is my solution, right? It'll be 205, 04, 26. That's the solution for multiplication. Now comes number 15. Number 15 is finding the intersection and the union and the x complement. So in this case, right, we know that we need to find the x complement and the y complement. So let's put them here on the right. That's right. This is the set x. Now the complement of x is going to be C, D, E, 4, 5. How do we know that? Because we go to the universal set. So for the x complement means not x, means not A, not B, not 1, not 2, not 3. So if it's not A, B, 1, 2, 3, so it'll be not A, not B, not 1, not 2, not 3, and whatever's left from the universal set is C, D, E, 4, 5. So this is the complement of x. In a similar fashion, right, the complement of y is going to give us A, C, E, 2, 4. Now, what's A? This symbol that goes down means and. What x and y, which means what do they intersect, or like what I like to say, what do they have in common? So the x and the y have in common B, right? A 1 and a 3. That's your solution. B1, 3. Now, the U guys right here, X, U, Y, right? That doesn't mean U guys, it means or union. But the way I like to say to my students is that you're going to put them all down, but you don't repeat them. Since X is first, I'm going to put the whole set X first, which is AB 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to go to the Y set. If the element is already in the set, you don't put it again. But if it's not, you put it down. Example, let's go to Y. Is the B there? Yes, it is. So I don't put it again. Is the D there? No, the D is not there, so let's put the D. Is the 1 there? Yes. Is the 3 there? Yes, so I don't put them again. Is the 5 there? No, so I got to put the 5. So this is my answer, guys. But most of the times, how my MATLAB does it, or the back of the book, the solutions are always in order. But you don't have to put them in order. Why? Because these are called equal sets. Equal sets are the same, right? But again, the way the book puts it back for the solutions and also my MATLAB, they put them in order. So the answer is A, B, D, 1, 2, 3, 5. Now for part C, the complement of X, right? We already found it. It's CDE 4, 5. Now, the complement of X intersects the complement of Y, which means what does the complement of X and the complement of Y have in common? Let's go back here on the right. Do they have a C in common? Yes. So the first one is going to be a C. Do they have a D in common? No. An E? Yes. So it's going to be an E. How about a 4? Yes. How about a 5? No. So the answer will be CE 4, 5. This is your solution. Now for E part, the complement of X intersects the complement of Z. So let's go here to the right. The complement of X is CDE 4, 5, and the complement of Z is B2, 3. Let's go here to the X. Do they both have a C? No. A D? No. An E? No. A 4? No. A 5? No. So they don't have nothing in common, which means it's going to be the empty set. That's your answer, guys? Or the symbol. These two are the same, mean the same thing. Okay? Okay, now, let's move on to number 16. 16 says, 60 people were contracted and responded to a movie survey. The following information was obtained. 6 people like comedies, dramas, and science fiction. 13 people like comedies and dramas. 10 people like comedies and science fiction. 11 people like dramas and science fiction. 26 people like comedies. 21 people like dramas. And 25 people like science fiction. So we have to answer A, B, C, and D. So let's start with part A. Draw a Venn diagram. Okay, so let's draw it then. Right? So we're going to put 3 circles or 3 sets for comedies, dramas, and science fiction. So I'm going to let comedies be the first one, right? Oh, this is my universal set because there's 60 total. So let C be comedies. Let D be dramas. And let set S be science fiction. Okay, now here's where we start. I put it in red because that's where you start to get the Venn diagram correctly. So 6 people like comedies, dramas, and science fiction. That means where do they all intersect? Which is 6, right? So these all sets intersect right here in this area right here. That's the intersection of all 3. So that's equal to 6. Now we go to a second clue here. 13 people like comedies and dramas. Comedies and dramas means C intersects D, which is 13. So this is my set C, and this is my set D, right? They both intersect on this area right here. They're saying that this has to be 13, right? But we already got 6. So 6 plus 7 will give us my 13. So 7 goes there. Now let's do the third part. 10 people like comedies and science fiction. So comedies and science fiction is this area here and this area here. Where do they intersect will be this area here in the middle. So it's saying that it's 10, right? So this is, we already got 6. So what goes here is going to be 4 because the total is going to be 10. Now, let's go to the fourth part. 11 people like dramas and science fiction. Right? That means this over here, right? So 11 means we got 6, so that's why this is 5. Now we go to the set C, right? All this has to be 26. So 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 7 is 17, so this has to be 9. Dramas is 21, right? So the total for dramas is 21. I got 13, and 5 is 18, so this must equal to 3. Then finally, 25 people like science fiction. Science fiction is this set here. Right, so all this has to be 25. We got 4, 6, and 5 is 15. So 15 minus 25 gives us 10 right there. Now, are we done yet? No, because they're saying that the total has to be 60. Let's see if this gives us 60. Okay, I'm going to add them up, right? I got the 9 plus 7 plus 6 plus 4 plus 3 plus 5 plus 10 is 44. 44 is not 60. So we subtract 44 from the 60 and it gives us 16, which means 16 will be out in the box. I mean, out from the sets, but inside the box. That's 16. This is the answer for A part. Now the answer for B part, it says, how many people surveyed like comedies, but neither drama nor science fiction? Which means, right, we have to go to comedies, right? This is all the comedies here. They like comedies, but not dramas nor science fiction, right? So it's going to be just these, not these right here, not those. So the answer will be 9. How many people surveyed like dramas and science fiction, right? So we go to dramas and science fiction, which is these two here, right? Dramas and science fiction, but not comedies. They like these two, right? But not comedies, so it means not these right here, which means it'll be 10 plus 5 plus 3. The answer will be 18. And for part D, how many people like none of the movies, right? The answer will be 16, because 16, they were in the and they responded to the survey, but they didn't like none of the movies. So this is the answers for A, B, and C. Now, 17. It says a single playing card is drawn at random from the ordinary deck of 52 cards. Find the probability of the following. Right, these are my cards. There's 13 of each suit, which means 26 are black, 26 are red. And face card, right? They're talking about face cards. Face cards are the cards that have a face, which is a Jack, Queen, and King. If you notice, every suit has Jack, Queen, and King. Okay? So now let's do the probability for, now let's answer the questions here. For part A, we know that the sample space will be 52. So everything on the denominator will always be 52, because that's my sample space. So, right, so the probability to draw a queen. How many queens are there? There's 4 queens. So 4 over 52 will give us 1 over 13. That's the answer for part A. For part B, the probability of drawing a diamond. There's 13 diamonds, so it'll be 13 over 52. The answer will be 1/4. For part C, a red card. Right, a red card, there were 26 red cards, so it'll be 26 over 52. The answer will be 1/2. And finally, a face card or an ace. How many face cards are there? There's 3 for each, right? So there's 3 here, there's 3 there for the hearts, 3 for the spades, 3 for the clubs. So 3 times 4 is 12. So there's 12 face cards, and also there's 4 aces, right? There's 1 ace for each suit. You see, these are the aces, so there's 4. So that'll be 12 plus 4 divided by 52. The answer will give us 16 over 52. Reduce it to 4 over 13. That's how we do these type of problems. Now, number 18. Suppose 2 fair dice are rolled. Find the given probability. The sum is 11, or the second die shows a 5. Okay. Here are all the possible ways that you can roll a dice. So the sample space will be 36. Right. So this is a formula that I'll be using. So we're gonna let A represent the sum is 11. So how many are 11? They'll be right here, right? These are 11. This is going to be 2. We're going to let B be that the second die is a 5. So it'll be right, these here, guys, the second die is a 5. All these right here. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be 6. And the intersection is going to be where these two intersect will be 1 because it's only right there. So let's put him here to the formula. The probability of A union B is equal to the probability of A, which is 2 over 36, plus the probability of B, which is what? 6 over 36, minus 1 over 36. The answer will be 7 over 36. This is your answer, guys. Okay, now number 19. For many years, the state of California used 3 letters followed by 3 digits on its automobile license plates. Okay. No, 26 letters are in the alphabet and 10 digits make all the numbers. How many license plates are possible with this arrangement? Well, some are letters, these are more digits. So it'll be 26, right? Times 26, times 26, times 10, times 10, times 10, because there's no restriction. We multiply them out, and we get 17,176,000. Now, part B. Several years ago, the numbers described in Part A were all used up. The state then issued plates with one letter followed by 3 digits, and then 3 letters. How many license plates will be in this arrangement? Right, so it says with 1 letter, followed by 3 digits, followed by 3 letters. So it'll be 26 times 10, times 10, times 10, times 26, times 26, times 26. That's your answer, guys. Multiply them out, and you get your answer. So it'll be 456,576,000. Okay, that's how we do this type of problem, guys. Hey, guys, if there was a restriction, for example, if it says the numbers or the letters cannot repeat, then this will be 26. There'll be 10 times 9 times 8, right? Because the numbers cannot repeat. So say on the slide here, if it was a 3, then 9 will be left for the second choice and so forth. And then here will be 25 times 24 times 23. But here, guys, there was no restriction, only how it sounds, which means, right? That was here, guys, there was no restrictions at all. It just says there was 1 letter followed by 3 digits followed by 3 letters. But if there was a restriction, that's the way you would do it. Now comes number 20. We're doing permutations, right, and combinations. So a lottery game requires you to pick 6 from 199 numbers. One from 6 numbers from 1 to 99. If you pick all 6 winning numbers, you win $4 million. But here's my solution. Order is not important, right? So it's going to be combination. So 99 combination 6 is going to give us 1,120,529,256. For part B, right, it's going to be permutation. Why? Because the order matters. It's going to be 99 permutation 6, right? And the answer will be 806,781,064,320. Right? That's how we know what formula to use, right? If it's permutation or combination, and these are the clue words: arrangement, schedule, order for permutation, and for combination, group, committee, set, sample, which means order does not matter. Now, number 21. In exercise 59, if you pick 5 out of 6 numbers correctly, you win 5,000. And how many ways can you pick exactly 5 out of 6 winning numbers? So it's going to be, right, order does not matter. 5 out of 6 will be 6 combination 5, right? But still, right, that the lottery requires 6 numbers, right? Not 5. So that means that we have to choose 1 out of the 93 that are left. Times 93 combination 1, because these must equal to 99, and this must equal to 6. Right, so we multiply them out. Right, again, these must equal to 99, the first ones, and the second ones must equal to 6. So the answer will be 558. That's the answer for that one. Number 22. A financial advisor offers 8 mutual funds in high risk category, 7 in moderate risk category, and 10 in low risk category. An investor decides to invest 3 at high risk, 4 at moderate risk, and 3 at low risk. How many ways can this be done? Here's the solution. From the 8, right? From the 8, they want to invest 3. So it's going to be 8 combination 3. From the moderate risk, there's 7. They want to invest 4, right? So it'll be 7 combination 4. And finally, from the 10 low risk, they want to invest in 3. So it's going to be 10 combination 3, right? And then we put it in the calculator. So this gives us 56. They'll give us 35, and this will give us 120. You multiply them out, and the answer will be 235,200 different ways. This is the answer for this one. And I believe this is it for this presentation. I went like 3 minutes over, but it was important for me to finish. Let me go back to the host so they can let you know what's going to take place now.
Thank you, Mr. Isasi, for your wonderful presentation. We wanted to remind you all that our previously recorded sessions, which are available on YouTube on the Tejano Virtual playlist, this session will also be available on the playlist later today. Also, linked is a short survey to help us improve our Tejano virtual event session. Please take a few moments to fill it out. And before you leave, I want to share that at 1 p.m. today we will be having how to improve your credit score with Enrique Lechuga. We'd like to thank you all for joining us throughout the semester, and we want to wish you a happy and restful holiday. We will begin all over again next year, so if you know of someone that's taking these classes next year, please refer them to the Happy Math Hour for extra support in their classes. We also send out an invite through the EPCC email. And thank you all once again. Happy holidays.